Welcome to the channel and welcome to the show. Today I want to talk to you about something very important. I want to talk to you about mythology and why it is absolutely necessary in our lives. You might think that these are just fun stories that we tell around the campfire. But these stories that have been told around campfires for, I believe, thousands of generations, they are not simply stories, but they are absolutely necessary in our lives. Let me explain what I mean by that. They're absolutely necessary. They become very necessary if you go through a crisis in your life. Now, notice how I phrased that sentence. I didn't say if you go to a crisis in your life. I said when you go to a crisis in your life. Because as I get older, I start to realize that it's not a question of when, not a question of if, but a question of when. I read somewhere that every 7 years on average, the average person goes through a very difficult period in their life. And when you do, you need mythology. Let me tell you why. Let me give you an example. Say your father died and your father has been your rock your whole life. Always somebody that you can come to with your problems. Always has the right answers, and then one day he dies. That means that the things that you hang on to are gone. So you're kind of lost. And what you're looking for then, if you're going to a crisis, if you're losing those essential things, you're looking for something to hold on to. You're looking for a raft to keep you from drowning in the sea of emotions that is inside your body. Well, if you grasp onto mythology, you will not just get a raft. You will get a glorious Viking longship that will take you places. Our ancestors crafted these tales to display universal truths. Even if the things you depend on, like the people around you and the fertility of your land, if those things fail you, the ancestors gave us these tales so we had some truths that were still true that we could cling to. Mythology is the way that our ancestors reach across thousands of years with a stretched hand to help us when we need them. And it's also all done in a very fun and entertaining package. Because who doesn't like a good story of a mighty god wielding a hammer, pounding a giant into a wall? We all love that shit. So, there's deep meaning. Well, what's the deep meaning? Well, say, for instance, you're going to a deep crisis. Because deep down, there are fears inside of you, and you've listened to those fears and you've destroyed a lot of things, or you've run away, you've destroyed your relationship, all because of these subconscious fears. If you study mythology and you study the symbolism of mythology, the being that represents fear could very well be Jormungandr, or in Greek mythology that's Ouroboros. It's the world serpent. The serpent that encircles the world of man. Now, when I read that as a child, I saw that literally. I saw planet Earth and I saw a giant snake going around it. But it's not the physical world, it's our own world. Where the known ends, what do we see? Fear. Now that is further compounded in the symbolism of where Jormungandr lives. He lives in the sea. And the sea, with its waves and its depth, is a symbol for our own feelings. If you dream about the sea, that's usually a metaphor for your feelings, because the sea can be very rugged or very easy, just like our feelings. But it lives beneath those feelings, beneath the sea. So Jormungandr, the world serpent, are our subconscious fears. Those fears are inexplicably linked to the thunder god, Donar, Thor, who fights this serpent with his hammer. The hammer I have around my chest right now. De moker van Donar. You could see Thor and his hammer as the embodiment of human will. Because Thor is the strongest of all the gods, meaning that your will can be so incredibly powerful, it can slay giants and it can move mountains. But the story goes, at the end, Ragnarok, Thor fights this serpent and he kills the serpent. But the venom is all over him, so he sets still a couple of paces and then he collapses. The lesson here is, maybe you've destroyed things because you were afraid. Maybe you ran away from things because you were afraid. But you cannot kill your fears. Because if you kill your fears, you kill you. Not even the strongest of the gods could kill the serpent in our subconscious. The beasts and the fears that lay there, you cannot slay them because they are as much a part of you as your hopes and dreams are. This is an example. I could give you other examples of Odin and wisdom and Fenrir, and if you want, you can watch my other videos because I go into great lengths explaining these things, or at least explaining them to the level of which I'm capable of understanding them, because these things are very layered. Now, what people don't seem to realize is that we are hardwired for religion. We are religious beings. They don't tell you that in school, but we all worship something. Even the atheists, they worship something. You have to worship something. Atheists end up worshiping their own rational mind, science, vaccines, but it's always, you're always worshiping something. What is it to worship? I want to quote the Bhagavad Gita. Shout out to the Bhagavad Gita. If you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it. It's gorgeous and full of universal truth. And they say that what you worship is what you give your energy to met niet aflatende toewijding. That translates to with never-ending dedication. So some people give all their energy to their worries. So they become their worries. Some people give all their energy to making money. So they become money and power. Because that's also a thing they don't tell you. You become what you worship. And you're going to end up worshiping something anyhow. So why not? Why not dust off those old books and read your local folklore and read the big myths? Put your energy in understanding them, because if you do, you will become what you worship. And what is mythology? It is the wisdom of another time and the wisdom of your ancestors. Now, maybe you can think of better things to become. Maybe you can, but I can't. I thank you for watching. Ga met de goden, go with the gods. I'll see you all next week.